As his state was lucky to avoid a worst-case scenario. Hello, I'm Steve Eager. Hurricane Milton moved quickly through central Florida overnight after landfall as a Category 3 storm. Tampa was spared a direct hit. The storm went a little further south, but there is extensive flooding from the Gulf Coast to Orlando and to Florida's eastern coast. At least 10 people died. Half of them were victims of tornadoes before and during Milton's landfall. Millions of people have lost their power, and just like Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago, the full extent of the damage in Florida will take a little time to assess. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in the newsroom with developments. Sean.
Yeah, and it is a lot of damage as well. Let me tell you, that damage from hurricane winds, from horrific flooding, and a huge tornado outbreak as Milton made his way on shore. But Florida's governor grateful for what did not happen.
The storm did not produce the worst case scenario in terms of storm surge.
But Milton's devastation lived up to its billing. The proof in the shredded roof of Tropicana Field, home to baseball's Tampa Bay Rays. The ballpark was supposed to be a hub for hurricane help, built to withstand 115-mile-an-hour winds. Hundreds of homes and businesses reduced to rubble by the ferocious winds the hurricane packed, and the tornadoes that dropped when Milton muscled ashore south of Tampa Bay.
We had plus or minus 12 tornadoes reported within a 90-minute period of time. I want to say my hat's off to County Emergency Management Team, Fire Rescue, Sheriff's Department, Port St. Lucie PD, and Fort Pierce PD. We had over 900 calls into the 911 center during that 90-minute period.
Of the multiple deaths being reported right now, at least 5 happened when one of those 12 tornadoes tore through a St. Lucie neighborhood on the Atlantic coast. Rescues are still taking place in floodwaters that refuse to recede, in places that Floridians say don't normally flood. This scene of people being pulled into boats, being brought to safety, playing out across central Florida.
The state has been involved in definitely dozens of rescues. I know our local partners are doing. We've been supportive of really everywhere around the state, including here. And we'll continue to do that, but my sense is that will stabilize, and we're probably going to be on a pretty good footing there.
It will take weeks, maybe longer, to know the full extent of the destruction caused by Milton.
Damage is widespread and extensive. There are flooded roads and downed power lines and trees.
Florida pre-staged 50,000 linemen across the state, some from as far away as California.
There's assessments being done about what needs to be done. When you have down power lines, that's actually easy for them to do. They just put the pole back up, reconnect it. If their entire system needs a rebuild, that will take a little longer.
The storm's signature shattering everything in its path from west to east through the central part of the state.
We had a lot of wind, and but we didn't even lose the electric. I mean, it worked out incredibly well.
We visited with Scott Taylor Wednesday. He has family in North Texas, chose to stay in his South Fort Myers home. Pleased how it turned out for him, praying for his neighbors just north of Fort Myers.
We were extremely lucky compared to others. You know, I know of people that we can't be in touch with that I suspect have just been wiped out.
And those search and rescue efforts still continue. In one incident, 100 residents had to be brought to safety from a flooded assisted living facility. The number dead, unconfirmed right now and uncertain at this hour, but some reports, again unconfirmed, say as many as 10 have lost their lives. It's heartbreaking, the loss of life. And then to know that people who stayed or will return in many cases have lost everything.